Good morning, South Anchorage High School. It is Wednesday, my dudes, December 2nd, the day after Hunker Down began again in the great city of Anchorage, and I am here with my den crew to bring you on a wonderful journey to find out how you are going to survive the next month on Hunker Down and end of second semester and beginning of Christmas break and prep for the third quarter. So welcome, everybody, to the den. Good to see y'all. Give the peoples a wave, peoples, and say hello. And we're going to kick it right over to Dr. Allman, who's going to give us the rundown, the skinny, the 411, the info on what's happening in the South Anchorage community. You go for it.
Yep. So we're almost inside of 10 days left to go in the semester, so can't highlight that enough. Make sure you're getting caught up. We're making a plan for the next couple of weeks. I talked about action triggers in my newsletter, which is figure out a plan to make sure that you're making the right choices, even when you don't want to make the right choices in the next 2 weeks as we get closer to semester break. Rest up after that, because it looks like we're going to continue with this particular model into third quarter for the vast majority of students, although we may have some smaller groups of students able to come back into the building. So more details on that. That is a change that occurred. If anyone was watching the board meeting or cares to go back and rewatch 3.5 hours of board meeting, that is what the discussion was about last night. So I suspect that we're going to hear a lot more in the following board meetings about what those small groups look like, what the plans are for bringing them back, and who that might include. So that's sort of the latest and greatest. And then, since we were just talking about it, seniors who are out there listening, or use your socials to put this out there. And then I'll also make a telephone call later today. Cap and gown orders are open through December 11th through Jostens. You can just go to jostens.com, search South Anchorage High School, and select what you need. And graduation day is May 14th at 11 a.m. TBD on location and how that's going to happen, because who knows what the case count and the mitigation strategies will need to be once we get to that point.
That's fantastic news. And just one second. Kitty, 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 kitty. Sorry, there's a kitty. It was taking everybody's attention away from the information. So let's get that information one more time. December 11th for your cap and gown. That is the due date. Go to jostens.com, search South Anchorage High School. Get your cap and gown for when you graduate on May 14th, which is solely dependent on the fact that in the next 10 days, you're going to pass all your classes for second quarter and making everything the right way where it needs to be and all that jazz, yippity, yappity, yoobity, 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 and more information on what third quarter and fourth quarter looks like coming very soon to you, probably in a newsletter format, and you will get a reminder on your phone today about that Jostens information. So it's kicking it, kicking it, kicking it. And thank you, Peyton, for dropping those red hot links to the school board meeting into the chat. We really dig it. He's also got a link to a story that came out about last night's school board meeting from ADN. So if you want to drop that in there right there as well, it's going to be good reading for everybody out there to make sure you're keeping in touch with what's going on in the world around you and how it affects you in your lives. So we got a couple questions that have come in from southvote.com, and you back home, you can always pop some questions into the chat or at southvote.com in between shows, and we will get those answered for you here, because that's what we do. And so who's got that open? Bria, it looks like you got that open. Why don't you knock out one of those questions for us to Dr. Allman and let him get to it.
Okay, so our first question is, if any of the vaccines have been distributed to everyone by fourth quarter, will we still need to use COVID mitigations such as masks, physical distancing, and so on at school?
I think the short answer is yes, some of it. I don't think it's a magic potion for going completely back to normal immediately, especially because not all vaccines are 100% successful. I will say, though, if we get vaccinated, if everyone gets vaccinated, it just makes it so much easier to be in person, because everybody can be very confident that they're not actually going to get sick. And then obviously when anxiety goes down, your ability to learn goes up. The adults in your life have an easier time coming to school and not worrying about their own families. So it's a key ingredient, but it's certainly not the only thing that we'll be doing.
And just to tack on 1 minute, I know that we've been in this situation for a long time. We're getting close up to a year now that we've been living this way. And I think maybe we forgot one of the most important lessons learned from all of this that I hope we remain utilizing. There were a lot of people in this country that did not wash their hands. And that's just gross for other reasons. So I'm kind of hoping that mitigation strategies kind of started to be hardwired into, hey, this is what we should have been doing the whole time, cleaning our hands. These dirty mitts touch everything. It's disgusting. Wash your hands, people. All right. So next question in there. Let's get that from Ben. Ben, will you rock the next question we see? I think it's another vaccine question. It's like just you were going to be vaccinated on vaccine questions.
Yeah, so the next question is, if any of the vaccines are available by fourth quarter, will kids be required to get it if they want to go back to school?
Excellent question. I know from last night's board meeting, to return to that again, Jen Petronas, who is the director of health services at the district, said that first responders and long-term care facility folks are the priority for vaccines. So anything that gets here is going to that group of people first. And then the second wave of vaccine may include educators, but that would more likely be the adults, not the students. And that is because the research, at least for right now, appears to suggest that students are much more resilient, get much less sick, have far less hospitalizations, and almost no deaths. And so sad to say maybe, but you guys are kind of last on the list when it comes to vaccination. But if the adults can get vaccinated who need to be here to kind of bring you back to school, it makes it likely that you can come. And then if and when we get to you all on that priority list, I would say it'll be heavily encouraged because, like I said before, it's just a protective factor and allows you to be a little bit more confident about what you're doing in space where you have to share it with other folks.
Awesome possum. Anxiety reduction across the board. That's what we're working for, folks. All right, so it's you gotta, whether it's placebo or not, let's get some anxiety down, get some things happening, moving and grooving. So last question on the docket. I believe we have a third vaccine question. And so we're going to throw a third vaccine question, but this is an interesting one because I think this one helps us understand maybe some of the facilities we might be able to utilize if those vaccines come through and be able to use it. So, Clara, do you want to run that one to us and make it a very distinctly clear question?
Sure. So the question is, if we go back to school fourth quarter and everyone has been vaccinated, will we be able to use lockers?
Good question. I'm going to say 80% no on that one. Just because the plans that are in place right now have been written for a long, long time. A lot of the other things that we're doing with the actual space inside of the school kind of depend on lockers not being a thing. And what I mean by that is traffic patterns in the hallways, how quick passing times will be, what needs to happen during passing times, what you'll have to do going in and out of a classroom, how you would eat a snack at school, the resources you would need from class to class, and how quickly you would have to get there. So there's a lot of sub-questions associated with lockers. However, I would leave that like 20% possibility open because if case counts go way, way down, and then mitigation strategies go down a little bit, then that's where it starts to become a better possibility. But I think really for this year, lockers are probably not a thing. And then next fall, so the fall of 2021, we will probably reconsider lockers because by that point, I hope we're in a much, much better place.
And as a person who spreads their physical property everywhere, I understand the desire for a locker and a space to put those things, but I think it's also important to remember that when we do come back fourth quarter and we're rocking and rolling, you're still only rocking 3 classes, and so you're not really carrying that 5-6 classes worth of stuff around you in a backpack every day. So I think that's important to make sure we all understand that we're not talking about piles and piles and piles of stuff. We're talking about what you need for those 3 classes that day. Pack it up in the morning, take it with you to school, come back, do your homework, leave it on a shelf, pack what you need for the next day, bring it in. It shouldn't be that much. Plus, we're going to be leaving school at the time before you normally kind of eat lunch during the day at, at that 1:30 mark. You can go home and eat, so you don't have to bring a lunch. You can't bring a lunch. So the need for a locker just basically lands for like Axe deodorant spray and your old gym socks. So you really don't need them because we really don't want those anywhere in the building. So we kind of go like that. Interestingly enough, I do have a friend who we were talking, you guys remember when we were with the Wolverine at the Wolverine Den, and they were talking about how the Axe deodorant body spray just gets those Wolverines riled up and frothing at the mouth and ready to take everyone out. And you got to make you wonder what they're putting in that stuff to get that kind of aggression out of a Wolverine. They're not aggressive things, are they? Right? No? All right. So I'm going to kick it over. I got a question for John because John has the answer. John, EO16 went into effect yesterday, and what EO16 says is that all these places for sit-in and dine-in are closed down, and that really limits some of the entertainment stuff that people can do and what they could do. So if people really wanted a night where they just didn't want to be in the house anymore and they wanted to go somewhere and it was still okay and they were protected and they could kill off some time, maybe grab their family and jump in the car and enjoy a shared experience together outside of their living room, where would be a good place they could go this month in order to have those experiences? How long do we let him go, guys?
Longer.
He's still going, and we can't hear him. So I wonder if we should let him know. All right, so John doesn't want to take that. He's too scared of what he has to say. I'm going to kick it over to Elliot because Elliot has the answer. Elliot, where can people go?
PopUpDriveInAK.com.
PopUpDriveInAK.com. That link's going right into the chat right now because Peyton is rocking this job and loving it every minute of the day. We have some crazy cool movies coming up. Hey, Patrick, which film are you most excited about this weekend?
I don't know.
He's like, I got to get to PopUpDriveInAK.com. I don't know what we're showing. I got to figure it out and then make a decision. Butterfield, you put me on the spot. I don't like this. Did you figure it out yet, Patrick? Do you know?
Not yet. Give me a sec.
Spinning Wheel of Death. Pressure's mounting. We're live here, man. I don't know what movie I want to watch. What's going to happen? Did you figure it out yet? Grace, how about you? What are you excited to see this weekend? Patrick.
The Grinch. That's Saturday at 9 p.m.
The Grinch, Saturday at 9 p.m. And this is the Jim Carrey Grinch, right? With the furry, fluffy, big rear-ended costuming that he has to wear. It's fantastic costuming in that film. And his physical brand of comedy just bleeds through that kind of physical nature of the drawings within old Dr. Seuss books. How about you, Patrick? Which one are you interested in this weekend?
I'd have to say Gremlins.
Gremlins is showing Friday, right? What time?
Yes. 9.
Friday at 9. You can get those tickets. Yeah. Where can you get those tickets, Ben?
PopUpDriveInAK.com.
Yeah, you get those tickets at PopUpDriveInAK.com. And the whole month of December is lined out up until the last film we're showing on December 19th. I just want to put a shout out there. We are going to be showing Venom as the final film for our drive-in films. So get in there and get a ticket. That's December 19th. We're showing Venom, and that is in a wonderful homage to my eldest, the firstborn, the heir to the throne's birthday is December 19th, and I've been working all these shows, not spending time with family, so I made a deal that I would show that film because it is their favorite film. And so that's what we have going. You can get all those movies and all those tickets at popupdriveInAK.com, and it's going to be a wonderful time. We hope to see you all out there. And this month, did we make a decision? Who is this donation going to for the entire month of December? Do we have a decision? We didn't make a decision. So, Bria, I'd like you to jump on the Insta, and I would like you to put out a poll, and you guys all decide on what are the 3 options. Put out a poll. We're going to let you, the audience, the loving audience, make the decision on who we donate to for the entire month of December. And remember, we're looking for places that are providing food or shelter to people that need it right now. And we're going to let you, the audience, decide who we donate that money to for the entire month of December. So you can find that information. What's that? I'm old, so I don't really get it, right? So where can people go to find that poll?
Our Instagram account is at SAHS The Den.
At SAHS The Den. And that poll will be up pretty shortly, so you guys will be able to give us those answers and let us know how that goes. Thank you so much, crew, for joining us today. We appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you, Dr. Allman, for your information. This is where people come to get information district-wide on what's going on, because it's an area that we can trust what we're hearing. And when we don't know, we say we don't know. And I think that brings a level of validity to the things that get said here. So we really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you, the folks at home who watch every Wednesday and keep it up, and share the link with your friends at wolverineden.org, and send your questions to southvote.com. We dig it. We know that the reason we exist is for those 10 people out there that need this information and value this information. So thank you for joining us. And remember, as always, keep your claws sharp, Wolverines.